Good morning and welcome. I'm delighted to see that a few more people walked in here while I was having my back at the door. I'm surprised that any of you walked in here, being the first of the year, and I'm sure that you all partied like animals. So welcome, 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 and welcome all of you joining us on Facebook Live. I'm Reverend G, if you're only joining us now, and you happen to be watching the service here at the Unitarian Universalist Community Church, which is in Portage. And I am delighted that you are choosing to start the day, the new year, by joining our service here today. So Happy New Year to us all. Today, normally we have this ceremony on the last Sunday of the year, the Burning Bowl ceremony, but we opted not to have a service on the 25th of December, so we're having it today because we just can't miss it. Burning Bowl, of course, is about fire. And just so you know, when you walk up here, there's a live stink bug on this candle. And touch it if you like, I don't like. Fire. Fire is the end, and fire is a new beginning. Fire is friend, and fire can be foe as well, can be very, very scary. Today I will talk a little bit about forest fires. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I also want to talk about our feelings and our emotions. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but over here they feel like forest fires. And so I will be drawing some comparisons between forest fires and our feelings and emotions. Forest fires. In 1910, there was a very, very large forest fire. 87 people died in this country. And then it was determined that forest fires are enemy number one. We have to put them out at any cost. We can't let them burn. We have to avoid them. If they happen, we must control them right away. And of course, things like this happen if we believe that human beings are not part of the ecosystem. So if we are above the ecosystem, then we must do whatever we have to the ecosystem, so the ecosystem cannot adversely affect us, right? So forest fires cannot kill us. What were some of the consequences, and what are some of the consequences of us declaring forest fires enemy number one? Well, one, black morels only come up after a fire. If there's no fire, black morels just live underground and they don't surface, don't break the surface. There is a certain pine called lodgepole pine, thank you. Lodgepole pine. It produces two kinds of cones. One of them is open, and the seeds are resting on these open little cones, and then they fall out of the cones, and there they get in contact with the dirt, and then they start growing. But they produce another type of cone that is closed, and it has seeds in there as well. And these cones can only open in a fire. So they need tremendous amount of heat for them to open. And there's a reason for that. Because what happens when these lodgepole pines grow, they're very tall. And then what do you call that? The branches are big and the light doesn't get through. And the little lodgepole pines need a lot of light, right? So although these seeds from the open cones fall on the ground, they can't germinate, they can't grow because there's not enough light. the only time they can grow when these pines are still relatively small, right? But once these are mature trees, the seeds don't have a chance. So then what happens? Lightning strikes, the fire bursts, and the large trees burn. These cones have a chance to open, and then the new trees, a new forest begins. And that is very important because it enriches the soil, it gives the new seeds a chance, animals have more nutrients, more brush type of greens get to grow, which feed the animals. In fact, elk and deer, they like to skirt the forest fires because they will eat the freshly grown green shoots, that's good food source for them. The other problem, if these trees keep growing, the roots are huge and they use up a tremendous amount of water. So then fresh water supply diminishes, and then there's a lot of unhappy trees. If a fire comes and burns down the big trees, then more trees grow, and then there's a lot of happy trees. And the water supply then is balanced out. It's so important to understand the necessity of forest fires. But we told ourselves we can't have them. And that, by today, has caused larger fires, longer lasting fires that are even harder to control. In New Mexico, however, they implemented a new plan where they are allowing the forest fires to burn, and they have found that their fires have diminished. They're smaller, they don't burn as long. It's good to let nature do its thing. The problem is that we decide that we must live right there, and our properties must not get damaged, our lives must not be harmed, and for that, we're willing to harm the ecosystem with price to pay. All right, so that's the fire part, right? Okay, so thoughts and feelings. This is our own ecosystem, and sometimes it gets all out of whack. Somebody just says the wrong thing at the wrong time. We get fired. We get a bad, unwanted diagnosis. A loved one dies. Our children don't turn out at all the way we had hoped. Terrible neighbors move in. War. Drama within the family. I mean, it just keeps going on and going on. And then we get hooked, right? Then we just think about it all the time. It's like letting those trees grow so big, using up all the fresh water supply, taking up free residence in our minds, those thoughts, the negative thoughts, and then just eating at us all the time. And then we have to do things to disassociate from these thoughts. Some of us will go to therapy, some of us will do all kinds of crazy stuff to not think. We might go shopping, we might go gaming, we might drink or do some other stuff that takes our minds off, gives us some relief from this monkey mind that just keeps going and going and going. And then it's the same hurt that happened there in the past, and we keep reliving it. So it's in the present all the time because of our minds. And in the meantime, who's living in the present, in this moment? Well, it's not us, because we're still having that unfinished conversation, coming up with the best punchline that would hurt them the most and make us come out, like, wow, that was a good one. Except we never got to say it. And then even if you do get to say it, so what? It's still damage that's been done. It's still something that you have to process, work through, and then release. Release. Because otherwise, it's like this uncontrolled forest fire. And if we don't release it, then there's no new beginning. Remember, I started out, fire is the end, and it's also a new beginning. And I think that we all want a new beginning from something. I'm not the only one, right? I'm not the only one who has some unfinished business. I'm not the only one who has some hurt that I carry and that I long to release it because it's eating me up. It's painful. And then how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, first of all, hurt feelings have a right to exist. Everything has a right to its life. Everything. Even negative thoughts. If it has a right to its life, then I must acknowledge it. That means I face it. It's like when that warm wash of shame comes, when that negative thought washes over me, I don't start doing the thing that helps me disassociate, helps me sweep it under the rug, but I turn and face it. And I face it. And I look at it for what it's worth. That's number one. Number two, I am willing to question it. Is it true? That person hurt me. That person hates me. Is it true? Can I be absolutely sure that it's true? Who would I be without the thought? If I couldn't come up with the thought that the person hurt me because they hate me, how would I feel in the moment? With the thought, it's agony. Without the thought, it's just freedom. Can I think of any reason why I should hold on to this thought? Any pain-free reason, any stress-free reason why I should hold on to this thought? Well, stress-free reason, no. I cannot think of any stress-free reason why I should hold on to this thought, no. So, I look forward to having this thought again and again. And I look forward to the willingness to release it again and again as it shows up. But most importantly, the number one step, which I am so bad at doing, is to sit with it. Is to not push it aside. Because whenever I sit with it, whenever I do the work, when I work myself through it, I realize that most people are just like me, so self-involved. They don't do things because they hate me. They do things because they think so much about themselves that it doesn't occur to them to consider me. It's about them. It's not about me. And it's true time and again. And my father does that, and my mother does that, and my sisters do that, and my friends and my family. That's why they do it. It's not because they want to stick it to me, but because they're just as self-involved as I am. And because if they could do better, they would do better. It's just like me. Whenever I hurt somebody, if I could do better, I would do better. If I could have done better, I would have done better. So this time of the year, where we hope to start something new, there's always that hope. The first of the year, the beginning of the year, that something about this year is just going to be a little bit different. I don't know that it will be. But I invite you to start something different this year. And I invite you to do it here and now. And it's not about exercising, working out more, losing weight. No. It's about losing some thoughts. At the very least, facing some pain, facing some hurt that we might have been carrying for quite some time. And it's been eating away at us like a wildfire. So face that wildfire, let it be. Let it be. Don't try to put it out by turning away from it, pushing it under the rug. Let it be, let it burn. So the black morels can come up. So the new pine, what pine? Lodgepole pine. So the new lodgepole pine can grow. To allow for new life, to allow for new possibilities. So here I'm going to invite you to just sit and think. And do all of you have these little flash papers? If you don't, then Ron will get them to you. If you don't have them, will you raise a hand? You all have them. You all have a pencil? All right. And I invite you to just go within and face it. Let it come. Let it come. This is the moment. You are in a safe place. Nobody can hurt you but your own thoughts. And then commit it to paper. The very fact of writing it down brings it even further out of us. It's healing. And then we will come in a little bit and we will burn that flash paper in the fire. Give it to the fire, signifying it's an end, so we may have a new beginning. Joe is going to play some beautiful music. Wow. I invite you at home too to do the same thing. Take a piece of paper, think about it, write it down, and then we'll come back to it in just a little bit.
And I cannot say how this blessing came to be. I only know that now an arrow's piercing me, and so you have my heart. Nothing is the same. I'm falling into others have appeared, an answer to my call. In ignorance and fear, I sabotage them all. But from you I could not turn, where I had turned before. My heart would only burn if I tried to close the door. And maybe on a dare, but by some saving grace, you caught the desperate prayer I sent hurtling through space.
So as you are ready to release, I invite you to walk this way to this side of the candle and just let the fire touch the flash paper and let go of it right away. And we will still keep playing the music while we're doing that. So as you are ready, but keep working. If you're not quite ready, take your time. And as you are ready, come on over this way and then burn it. And Joe will play the music. There you go. Good job. Here it is. We did it. Here's to new beginnings. Here's to truly letting go. And if we need to do it again and again and again, it's worth it. It's worth it because if we don't, we halt progress We halt healing. We halt hope for a happier us. So here's to an end and to a beautiful new beginning. And so it is.